Hey guys, this is Praveen, founder of Live Chat Ninjas. Our guest today is Robin Vander Heyden. Robin is the co-founder of an unlimited productized graphic design service called Manypixels. In this interview, we are going to go deep dive into his story, how he grew Manypixels to a $50,000 monthly recurring revenue, the challenges he faced, and how he overcame them. Let's get started. Hi Robin, let's start by introducing yourself to our audience. Who are you and where are you from and what is Manypixels?
Sure. So my name is Robin Vander Heyden. I'm from Belgium, and Manypixels is an unlimited design service for a flat monthly fee. So for $399, you get your personal designer, and you get access to a platform where you can submit as many design requests as you want. So this is useful for small and medium businesses that often have graphic design needs and do not want to hire a freelancer or do not want to hire someone in-house.
All right. So why have you started this is a productized service? Why have you ventured into this kind of a business model?
So the idea of Manypixels came out of my personal frustration. So I had a company before, a real estate company, which was fully online, and I was mostly hiring designers to create various graphics from blog post images to social media graphics, but also landing pages. And I was working with overseas talent, mostly for cost reasons. So I mostly was working with designers out of Indonesia. But I realized that the experience of hiring and managing those designers was not optimal. So mostly hiring is very tedious to post job offers and to work with freelancers that are not always reliable, and you never know who to pick. And then managing those designers was also difficult because I didn't really know how much to pay them. I had to pay them per job, and the prices had varied a lot. So I thought it would be awesome to have a solution where you pay a fixed package per month and the designer is picked for you and you can submit all the design requests that you need. So I didn't want to spend my time hiring people or managing them, but rather I wanted to spend my time focusing on building my business and building my customer base and making sure that the business was more structured. So that's the reason why I thought the productized service approach was better. And so that's how Manypixels was born.
Okay, so is you are the only founder or do you have co-founders?
I'm the founder, but since about a year, another co-founder joined. And since now 8 months, we just had a third co-founder who is CTO now, who is developing the backend of Manypixels to basically make sure that customers have a good experience when they order design requests and when they communicate to their designer.
So where is Manypixels now today?
Yeah, so in terms of revenue, we are at about 50,000 USD per month. And in terms of team, we have about 20 team members, 20 to 22, and they are all fully remote. So we have two types of team members. We have designers, which comprise the biggest part of our team. So we have 18 designers, and they are located in Indonesia, Philippines, Ukraine, and Romania. And then we have also two team leaders, which are from Romania and from the US. So those team leaders manage the clients' communication and the accounts. And the designers are basically in two different time zones because we have customers mostly in the US, but also in the UK and in Australia and a little bit in Singapore. So that was our decision for having teams in different time zones. And our designers we have three types of designers. We have illustrators, graphic designers, and UI designers.
All right. So it is at 50,000 USD, is that?
Yeah, correct.
Team size of 22 from Indonesia and a few of them on your founder side, the CTO. And it is completely a remote organization.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so let's go back to the beginning times when Manypixel got started. You have this idea of having a place where you can go get the designs instead of hiring, firing, and managing freelancers for your design tasks. So how did you first manage to put up a website and then get those first 10 initial customers?
Yeah. So basically, when I started the company, personally, I was in a stage where I was a little bit lost in my life. I didn't really know what to do. So I studied law, corporate law, and then I basically took a year to travel after that. So I started first a company when I was doing my studies, and then that company was successful, but then some law changes meant it wasn't so successful for the last year. So I decided to travel with my savings and stuff. And I really didn't know what to do. So my savings started to decrease. I considered applying for jobs, because all my friends had high-paying jobs in law firms and stuff. So at one point, I really needed to make money because the other alternative was to go back to my parents' place. So I decided to set up as soon as I could a landing page offering my services. So what I did, I went on Theme Forest and I bought a $10 CSS template. And basically I said, you can get unlimited design services for $99 per month. I did not really know how to code, so I chose an off-the-shelf solution to handle payments, which is called Paywall. And then I integrated the code on the website. And then I launched that website on various Facebook groups that I was in. So I was part of a few Facebook groups such as Sydney Startups or Brisbane Startups. And I basically asked people in the group what they thought of that idea. And to my surprise, about 10 people bought the first day, or even 15, wow. I think. So the first day I made $1,500. So I was like, oh, okay, I have something on my hand, but now how to really make it real, right? Because I didn't expect that I would get so many customers. And then I also didn't expect that $99 was way too low. So yeah, that's how it started.
And are you a designer yourself?
No, I'm not a designer. I'm not.
Yeah, so having 10 customers, 15 customers at hand, and you not being a designer. So what was your thoughts on that particular day? Like, what did you think?
So I had my design taste. So I think I was okay in picking and knowing which designers were doing a good job. So I was often looking out of personal interest at Dribble or Behance at their portfolios. So I thought, okay, this designer, I prefer his style. And I thought just by my own judgment, maybe other people would also like the style of this designer. But in terms of core skills, such as how to do a UI or a wireframe, or like how to do a logos and stuff, I had absolutely zero skills. So my view on that was to hire project managers that would actually have an eye for design and have design skills, but who would manage the designers. But myself, I didn't have any skills at all.
Got it. So you are not a designer, but you do have experience in working with designers, understanding what is a quality design versus what is not. And that helped you to pull this off.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Got it. The Facebook groups that you are in help you to get the first 10 customers. And then what marketing strategies have you worked on later on?
Yeah, so later on, we started with cold outreach via email. So once we knew that small and medium businesses were our targets and agencies, we started cold emailing and started buying lists and then just basically sending them email sequences. So that was the first step that got us a few subscribers. Then the second step we did was a lot of content marketing. So we did content marketing relating our entrepreneurial journey of building this company. So we posted those on Reddit and Indie Hackers, which are two communities with a lot of small entrepreneurs who are starting. And I felt that publishing our content there was a good way to be in front of potential customers. So we did that. And then lastly, and we're hoping to scale with this, we are doing Facebook advertising now. So we have profitable return on investment on Facebook ads. So what we do two types of ads currently. We do retargeting. So we try to have a lot of traffic on our website and then retarget it with ads. And then we do prospecting ads. So just lookalike audiences and stuff like this. We've also done a free illustration gallery. So similar to Undraw, we have a gallery of open source illustrations. And this gallery is very successful. It brings about 30,000 visitors, unique visitors per month on our website. Unfortunately, not always the best clients for us, but it's still a successful marketing strategy. So our strategy for now is to drive traffic on our website and then retarget that traffic either with ads or with email sequences. So for example, if you go on our free illustration gallery or if you go on our blog, you will see some places where you can enter your email to get subscribed and get updates. And once you get into that email list, you get a sequence of 4 to 5 emails, basically which tells you more about Manypixels.
You kind of tried everything. So from being, promoting on Facebook groups to cold mailing, and then content marketing, and also what you're saying is email marketing, getting the leads into your email list, and then nurturing them until they purchase from you. Is that right?
Exactly. Yeah. What we haven't done so far, we haven't done much SEO yet, but I think SEO could be a really good way to acquire customers as well. But we might do it at a later stage. For now, we want to focus on Facebook advertising.
Got it. Okay. And also ads, right?
Yeah.
So what is in all of this that you have tried, what do you think is the best converter, the best marketing strategy that you have invested?
For now, we haven't done a lot of marketing, to be honest, since the start of Manypixels. We have done a lot of hustling. So we have tried many different things and tried to get users, because Manypixels is a very difficult business to pull off in terms of operations. So we mostly recruited our customers manually via cold outreach or inbound and that kind of stuff. But what I think is the marketing strategy that will really enable us to scale on long term is Facebook advertising and SEO.
Got it. What on the other side, what is the worst marketing strategy that you have worked on that didn't get you? By worst, I mean that didn't get you the results that you have expected.
Yeah. So what didn't work at all for us is LinkedIn outreach. So probably our targeting was too wide. That's how I attribute the failure. So for now, it's really strange because cold email outreach really worked well, but LinkedIn outreach didn't really work well. To be honest, I'm not a big fan of LinkedIn for now and how I have to do it, like adding a connection and then sending an email and pretending to be building a relationship, but then what you want to do is actually sell. So I didn't really like also doing LinkedIn, but maybe there is a better way to do it, but I haven't discovered it yet.
All right. Coming to the pricing of Manypixels. So you mentioned that you have initially started with $99 a month, and now the price is $399 USD a month. So why did you increase, and do you have a pricing strategy behind the increase?
So there are two reasons why we increased the prices. The first one is that low prices tend to attract customers who are more interested in low prices than actual quality service. And the second reason is that we were not able to serve at $99 customers a service that was worth it. It was just too cheap considering the prices we were paying the designers and considering how many customers a designer could handle. So that was just those two reasons. So we saw that customers also that were buying the cheapest plan. So we had two plans, $99 and $179 at the beginning. And we saw that we had a much higher churn on the $99 plan. So even the customers who were purchasing the lowest tier were churning far more than the $179 plan. So my reasoning for this is that customers who are paying the higher plan have usually a more established business and thus have the money to purchase it. But some are just curious about the $99 offer and they just want to try it. They are curious about the service and then they churn. So now that we have a $399 plan, which is more in par with what other services and what the competition is doing, we are quite good with this pricing.
Wow. That's actually a good, a mind shift, right? Most of the people who are starting out with their businesses think that they have to go cheap in order to attract more clients. And as you're saying, the $99 a month clients churned out more, and your reasoning of they want to test out and they cannot support this makes sense. And is that the reason that you have increased the prices later?
Definitely, yeah. And I also think that when you are too cheap, some customers do not consider you at all. They think the service is like not working for the money. Even though you have a money back guarantee, they don't take you seriously. If you really want to attract customers that have not known you at all, what you can do is an entry-level offer. So, for example, a single design request, or for example, a 1 week trial for a flat price, which is not too high. And then basically, once those customers have already purchased something from you, and once the trust is established, and once you have proven you can deliver value, you can then upsell them to another plan. So another company is doing that called Carson, which is doing small Shopify tasks, which I think is really clever. And so we might do this in the future as well at Manypixels to get customers to try us. But definitely pricing, you should price based on the value you are offering and never price too low unless you really want to offer a cheap and affordable service, which is not high quality, which can also be very good strategy. But if you are looking at providing a quality service, then it's, I think, not sustainable.
Got it. All right. Coming to the growth of Manypixels. So it is currently at 50,000 monthly recurring revenue, but it started with 1,500 in one day. So what are the challenges? What is the biggest challenge that you have faced from taking Manypixels from 1,500 to 50,000?
So at the beginning, the biggest challenge was building the team. So finding the right way to structure the team. So I flew to Indonesia, to Jakarta, and I started hiring designers and working with them remotely via Skype. Then it didn't really work. They were disappearing, not answering to customers. So I opened an office in Jakarta and the whole team was fully in-house. This also didn't work. Designers were late to work. Sometimes they were unhappy about working long hours and that kind of stuff. So finally, we set out to have higher prices for customers, so we could also compensate designers better. And we also offer them to work fully remotely. And we also gave them an allowance for internet or co-working space, and they are now really happy. So at the very beginning, it was mostly building and finding out the right team structure and how we would pay them and that kind of stuff. Now, the biggest challenge is churn, which is still a bit high. The churn is, we attribute it for a couple of reasons. Sometimes the customers do not need the service. Sometimes they also find out the turnaround are too long, and a very small amount of customers find out that the design quality is not as good as they expected, but that's very, very small, almost insignificant. And I would attribute churn in general as a lack of product market fit. So this is very difficult to achieve for a productized service because you, especially in the design space, you can do so much for so many different types of clients. And the way to fix churn is to make sure that you really niche down to a specific type of customer that you know will use your service the way you want it to be and the way you want to deliver. And the mistake we did at Manypixels is to go too wide on who we wanted to serve. So we do UI, we do logo, we do graphic designs. We have multiple pricing plans. So it's a very wide offer and it's very difficult to productize and scale and offer the same consistent service to everyone. So that's the biggest challenge in growing Manypixels. And now we are reducing our plans. We are thinking about doing 2 plans only, which are very different for very different audiences with very different services. And I think that's our biggest growth challenge. So now we have reduced our churn a little bit. It's still high, but we're reducing it. But mostly, I would say the churn, most of the time, if you have a high churn, it's because you don't have a product market fit. And if you don't have a product market fit, it's probably because you are doing too much for too many different customers. And as a reason, some customers are very happy, but a lot of them are not so happy, and then they churn and then choose another service which really answer their specific needs. That's the biggest challenge we had in growing Manypixels.
All right. I am a designer. So I used to do freelance web design and graphic design. So the problem with design in specific is that it is almost impossible to satisfy each and every customer.
Exactly. Yes.
Because design is so visual that everyone has their own opinions of what they want, and what they see is a perfect design for them. So the product market fit, as you said, is one of the main reasons for people not liking what Manypixels provide. But at the same time, there are a lot more customers, not a lot more people who can benefit from a service that can provide design work at a flat monthly rate. So yeah, the reason I, as a designer, agree that whatever you are facing is something the design industry faces in general. So it's not a mistake or an issue with Manypixels specifically.
Yeah, exactly. It's for a lot of different services, not just for us. So yeah, again, just to address those issues, just go hyper niche, and then find a service that people really want to do, really want to order, and then that should solve the churn issues. For example, a niche could be bloggers that want regular blog posts, and those bloggers, what they care most about is speed over quality, so fast turnaround. If you can find a service, if you can build a service that just does that, provide one service for one specific audience, and you know exactly what they care about, and you build a service around that, then you will be very successful. Another example is, for example, agencies that want to have a dedicated resource. So, for example, having a designer that answers from Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 p.m., and who is available on Slack or even via your own platform, and who can be just available. So what that customer would care the most about is availability and reliability. So these are 2 different profiles, right? And these are 2 different services that you provide in very different ways. And if you want to do all type of customers and all type of services, then that's very difficult to scale, because you don't really know what's the bottleneck of your business, because you have on one side customers who are very happy and love your service because maybe you are very fast, but on the one side, your designers are not really responsive and not really implementing revisions, and you have a lot of customers churning. So that's the idea on how I would fix product market fit issues for productized service.
That's something that I would completely agree. As you said, niching down. Niching down is something, not just productized businesses, but any kind of a business needs to do. If we are serving everyone, then we are serving no one. So yep, I would completely agree with what you just said. All right. So on the operation side, you have mentioned that you flew to Indonesia and Jakarta and set up an office, had your team in-house. So from there to now, which is a completely remote team, I guess, right?
Yeah, it is.
So what made you to take that decision, and how long have you been in the in-house space, and how long have you been in the remote type of operations?
Yeah, so now we have been fully remote for about 9 months, and it works perfectly. But before, I wanted to be in-house because, to be honest, I was a control freak. I really wanted to see the designer working from 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and making sure that they were doing design and nothing else. And in terms of operations, I also wanted them to only use templates, but that was a big mistake. So I was over controlling the designer and the staff. And that's also a reason why the in-house stuff didn't really work. First of all, I wasn't a designer and I didn't have design skills. So I was not really in a good position to create SOPs or templates or tell them what to do. So my biggest learning in managing a team is actually to care about people. But before you care about people, just find people that care about you. So find really great people that want to work remotely, that are good at what they do. So focus time on hiring really good designers. If you want to do a design service or any other service, find good team players. But most importantly, find people who are aligned with how you will structure your company. So for us, all our design staff, they really like the remote lifestyle. So for example, one of our team leaders, she's living in the mountains and skiing after work or before work. And she really likes the fact that she can work remotely. And so that's a perfect job for us. That matters more to her than money or than trying to have bonuses or stuff like this. So try to find, it's the same for customers. Customers, you try to build a company and services that they care about, but the same goes for your team. You try to create a company and create benefits that they care about. These benefits can be the possibility to earn more money, or it can be the possibility of working remotely, having a good work environment, having career growth. It can be many things. So for us, we focused on creating a structure that they really liked, and they work via Slack. We don't have too many team meetings. I don't think the managers have any team meetings with them. They just have one Slack channel where they discuss with their teams, and then they work fully remotely, and we pay them directly to their bank account once a month via TransferWise, and they really like that. So they have the flexibility of working from home and that kind of stuff. So that's my biggest learning on managing a team. Then also having good team leaders that look after the team and make sure to tell them, okay, you have to reply to that customer. You forgot to do this, or this customer is not happy. Here's what's going to happen. So we have also a small process in that regard. So when a designer does not show up, or where he constantly forgets things for a customer, he first gets a warning and then a second warning letter via email. And then once that designer is still not doing any improvements, we terminate the independent contractor agreement. So that's the only things we have in place at Manypixels currently.
Awesome. So looks like you have the processes now after going remote, which you lacked while having in-house. Is that right?
Yeah, correct.
Are there any other mistakes that you have done now, both on the operations and marketing side of Manypixels?
In terms of mistakes, probably going a little bit too fast at the beginning. So not caring too much about having co-founders agreements in place, or not caring too much about which type of customers to acquire. I just wanted to go as fast as I could. And in hindsight, I think I could have gone a little bit less fast. And for example, I went too fast and made sure to acquire as many customers as I wanted, but didn't care about setting up customer service processes in place. So I didn't have a live chat on the website, or I only answered it when I wanted. But make sure that the basics are covered. So like how the expectations, if you have any co-founders, how they are set, or if you actually have customers, like how you will actually handle aftercare or questions or emails. So this is the mistake that I've made with Manypixels that hopefully I won't make with other services or companies that I will make.
Contrary to that, what are some of the good decisions that helped the company to grow?
Yeah, one good decision is actually having two co-founders on board. So they came up with very different skills. So one co-founder had a lot of business experience and corporate experience, also at marketplaces. And another co-founder has technical experience. So he developed the platform. And also they challenged a little bit my decisions. So being a solo founder, sometimes it's difficult to have feedback on whether what you're doing is good. So having people who have different experiences was great and who are driven as well to take the company to the next level was the best decision I made for Manypixels. We wouldn't be here if I didn't have my co-founders.
That makes complete sense. What are the future plans and future will look like for Manypixels?
Yeah, so on the short term, our plan is to reduce churn. So to do this, we plan to achieve product market fit. So we will change the pricing a little bit. We won't increase, but we will make two different plans. So one which is more like for small design request, graphic design requests, and one which is more for having a dedicated designer that talks to you and makes your request throughout the day. So we are changing a little bit the pricing. It's not fully, and I mean the value proposition. It's not fully decided yet, and we are still beta testing this. So the short-term goal is to reduce churn. Then the long-term goal is to actually set up long-term marketing and acquisition channels such as ads or SEO, so that we have a really predictable way of acquiring customers and not just, oh, we have 2 new subscriptions, but we don't really know where they are coming from or how much it costs us to acquire them. So to really structure the business and possibly if later we want to have an acquirer or even just for us to know our numbers, we will need to know how much a customer costs us or what's our lead sources and that kind of stuff. And for this, we will have to set up a long-term marketing channels. So that's the plans in terms of strategic decisions. But in terms of traffic and revenue, traffic, we don't really have a set number, but revenue, we want to hit the magic number of 83,000 USD per month. So that's like $1 million. And then personal goals for me, personally, I want to be more involved into developing the ecosystem on productized services and building my SaaS, many requests. So I recently started building a tool that enables productized services, agencies, and freelancers to sell their services and manage them. And so my goal is to really develop this and make a good community around this with content and articles and interviews on productized services.
I also see that you have launched a SaaS product recently. Would you mind talking about it?
Sure. So the SaaS is called Many Requests, and basically it's the tool that I wish existed when I built Manypixels. So when I built Manypixels, the first thing I wanted from my customer is to have a really clear brief of their needs. And what happened is that most of the communication happened either via Trello or via email or via other tool, and the communication was very badly organized. So Many Requests is a booking form that you can integrate on your website where customers can pick exactly the service they want. And once they pick that service, they are asked specific questions and they can upload files and stuff so that the request that you receive from a customer is very detailed and packaged. So the request is like a productized service. So that enables you to do that, but that also enables you to manage those orders with your team and manage your customers and see your business metrics. So basically it's a all-in-one tool that enables you to build a successful productized service or tech-enabled agency.
So is this form customizable?
Yeah, it's fully customizable and there is no branding. So when you put it on your website, whether it's a WordPress website or just an HTML page or whatever, your customers cannot see that you are actually using a SaaS and they can purchase the services from you via this form.
This SaaS is basically for anyone who is getting started with productized services, and to manage instead of using Trello, off-the-shelf tools like Trello, Google Docs, and stuff, and messing up the client communication and the pipeline, the delivery pipeline. They can use the software and get everything in one place. So they can get, they can invite the team, they can invite the clients, find the clients will fill the requirements, the team will get the job done and deliver it to the clients, and then on in the bird eye perspective, they can see, the business owner can see the overall revenue and all other metrics related to his business. Is that right?
Exactly. It's like a back office for your business. So once you set that up and once you invite your customers and your team on it, the idea is that you don't have to do anything. You just have to check the revenue and focus on marketing and focusing on making sure that your business improves. But managing the business on a daily basis will not be one of your tasks anymore after you use that dashboard. So it's really helping you to set up shop and make sure that customers orders from you and reorder. So that's also the goal of this SaaS, is also to make sure that your customers have a great experience in ordering services. So that's one of the reasons why customers purchase productized services, is that they don't want to deal with hiring someone or dealing with custom proposals. Here, that's the other way around. They just purchase services from you like they order a product from you. So that's a great experience. That's like online shopping for digital services. So that's what we're trying to achieve.
Yep, that's the nice way to put it together. Online shopping for digital services.
Yeah.
All right. So what's the website again?
Manyrequests.com.
All right. So moving on, what's the one thing you wish you had known during the initial stages of Manypixels that you know now?
Mostly about the team, I would say. So actually building a team is not the thing I'm the best at, to be fully transparent. So the first thing I wish I had known is probably to find a co-founder a little bit earlier who could help me with this and making the right decisions in building the right team structure. And the thing I wish I had known the best is that even though you want to do a productized service, you want to do something really packaged with a lot of processes, hiring the best people is still your most important task. Whether it's co-founders that you find to run your business, spending time to make sure that the expectations are the same, or whether it's hiring workers for a productized service, you should really make sure that it's one of your most important jobs that you should not fail at. And making sure that hiring the best possible people is like my biggest learning. It seems obvious when you just hear that business advice without context, but in the context of productized service, it really made sense for me later that I should have spent more attention on that. And now we are continuing to make sure that everything we do at Manypixels attracts the best people and making sure we also retain them.
So what's the number one tip that you can give to someone who wants to start a productized service today?
So the number one tip is to go hyper niche. So to really find a very defined customer with a very defined problem. And then don't worry that you are closing your doors to other customers. Just find one customer that wants one specific service. So if I had to start again Manypixels, I would probably just find a niche. For example, Amazon merch is a niche. So this niche needs to create a lot of t-shirt designs and need illustrators to produce designs so that they can sell those designs on Amazon. And having a niche really helps you understand what your customers care about and what's their personal goals. So, for example, if I didn't have that niche, I wouldn't know what those Amazon sellers cared about. And maybe they care about creating a lot of designs or having high quality t-shirts designs, etc. And making sure that when you go hyper niche, you can actually create a service that you really like and where they can really stay a long time. And this will help you find product market fit and help you have a low churn and your team will know also how to serve them. Your team will be happy, more happy. So everything is linked together. So when you are starting, I would say find a niche, go really narrow, as narrow as you can, ask a lot of questions to your customers, and make sure that you really do a very niche service as well. And you can always expand later once you really hit 5 or 6 customers that really love your service. Then try to find more of them. And once you run out of customers to find for that niche, then it's time to expand to a second one. And then you can go ahead and grow your business from there.
Awesome. That's a great advice. So what are you spending most of your time these days?
I'm doing marketing most of the time. So operations is done by my co-founder, but I'm doing marketing and customer acquisition most of the time.
All right. So you are mostly into marketing. I think it's the same from the initial days of Manypixels, right?
Yeah, exactly. It didn't change.
How can our audience reach you?
Yeah, so I have a Facebook group on productized services called Productized Startups. So all the members can join, everyone can join it. That's the best way to reach me.
All right. Okay. So this Facebook group is specifically for people who want to start productized services.
Yeah, so it's intended for three different audiences: freelancers who are already doing some freelance or who want to be a freelancer and make sure that they have a solid business. Or it can be also for agencies that want to scale their agency using the productized service approach. Or if you already have a productized service and you just want to find ways to scale it, either scale your team or your marketing, or simply if you want to network. So that's intended for these 3 groups.
Why they have to join the group? What it is in it for them for joining the group?
Why you should be interested in this group is mostly because there are tons of learning about team, operations, starting your service, how to automate. And it's sometimes better to learn from someone who has been there before and has made all the mistakes to save you time and money rather than doing all the mistakes yourself. So I've been running the company now for 2 years and I've made all the mistakes possible. I've tried a few different models until I found which one worked best. And if you want to save time, basically go on the group so that you can ask your questions and get feedback, and also read content from people who've been there before.
That is a great explanation, and that is productized startups in Facebook, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That is the end of our interview, Robin. Thank you so much for spending your time with us and answering all the questions. I hope a great future for Manypixels. Thank you so much, and have a good day, Robin.
Thanks, Praveen, and have a good day as well.